the original teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. And I'm reading today again out of Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The Path, the New Path, as it was later called, which he has, you know, more than half of this book is the days he spent living with Paramhansa Yogananda and what he learned from him. And here he goes into this topic of love. Yogananda urged Kriyananda, who was, by his own explanation, full of intellectual pride when he first arrived as a young man of 22, to seek devotion, seek God's love, not for the mind. And so in this little section, you'll enjoy this as I did, I hope. I used to pray to the Master, teach me to love you as you love me. Chatting with a group of us one day in the main office, he looked at me penetratingly and said, how can the little cup expect to hold the entire ocean of love? First, it has to expand and become as big as the ocean. The Indian scriptures state that when the soul releases its hold on egoism, it merges into the ocean of spirit and becomes one with it. While most of us loved Master from varying degrees of ego consciousness, his love for us was without limit. It was cosmic. The ordinary human being, to ordinary human beings, such love is inconceivable. I killed Yogananda long ago, he said. No one dwells in this temple now but God. His love for us was God's love, manifested through his human form. This is a really, I mean, I seem to say this after all these quotations out of the book, but out of all of Yogananda's original teachings, that this little passage is central to the spiritual life. But it is. And in a way, Yogananda's lifetime was a life completely dedicated in attunement with, as a complete representative of one who is totally free in God, to share those teachings. And he only lived 59 short years. And so through all that time, basically every thought, every word uttered, every situation, every interaction with people or animals or plants, whatever, all of it was truly a scripture and a teaching that he left behind for the hundreds, if not thousands of centuries to come, for all of us rumbling around in our egos, wanting to be free. It's good to want to be free. It's not enough to want to be free. In the end, we want to be drawn by love and not just by what we're leaving behind, if you know what I mean. And so Swami Kriyananda worked diligently. He tried with every ounce of his being to shed his his intellectual tendencies, not that they are bad of and by themselves, but the intellect often, all too often, goes together with ego. There's a certain amount of pride that comes in the intellect, and eventually it becomes dry if it's not mixed in equal parts, if not more, with loving God. Swami Sri Yukteswar, who was a Jnana avatar, meaning an avatar of wisdom, explains that you cannot put one foot in front of the other on the spiritual path without developing the natural love of the heart. And the most natural love of the heart is our love for God and for the highest that is within us, for the kingdom of heaven which resides within us, portable paradise. And so it is that Swami Kriyananda worked so hard in those years when he lived with Yogananda and in all the rest of his life to keep foremost the love and devotion for God. He composed over 400 pieces of music, and if they do anything, they penetrate directly to the love in our hearts when we listen to it. And so all these ways, whether it's chanting, whether it's offering devotion in any way, whether it's setting aside thoughts in order to be more penetratingly in tune with the love of God, these are the ways in which we can expand our consciousness so that it can, as Yogananda said to him, be filled with the ocean of God's love. Joy to you, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Blessings. Bye-bye now.